I call to order this special meeting of the Warren County School Board for Thursday, December the 4th, 2014. Welcome. I would like to welcome everyone to this special meeting for the public input session. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to receive feedback from community members regarding the characteristics, skills, or knowledge of the next superintendent of Warren County Public Schools should possess. It would not be appropriate to mention names or a particular incident from the past. This type of information is best received in writing and sent to the Warren County School Board or to the superintendent, or it may be expressed at the next regular school board meeting on December the 11th. Tonight, your comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and when you come to the podium, if you could state your name and address, that would be appreciated. The school board is here to listen to the public and will not be engaging a speaker in dialogue. The Warren County School Board has secured the services of Real Synergy LLC to assist in the superintendent search process. I would like to introduce Dr. J. David Martin, president of the firm, to give a brief update and timetable for the search process before we begin the public input session. Dr. Martin.
Thank you, Ms. Bauer. I'd first like to introduce this second part of our team, Dr. Rick Leonard, who is also assisting with the search. Part of the process to select the next superintendent will include multiple ways to solicit input from the school community and the community at large on the skill sets, characteristics, knowledge, and attributes of the next school superintendent. There are several ways for everyone. This is an inclusive, not an exclusive process in the Warren County community to have input. Real Synergy has already conducted over 65 interviews of identified community leaders and school personnel last week. The input from tonight's input session will be combined with the input data from last week. Beginning today, if you go to the Warren County School website, you're now going to see a survey which will be open for 2 weeks for the community to provide, anyone in the community to provide input into the process. We will collect all of that data, and from these data points, we will use or assist the school board to develop a superintendent's profile. What you would like, what the community would like to see the next superintendent to exhibit in their skill set for the school division. The board will probably use this input also to construct possible interview questions, because we don't want the data to just be static. We want it to have some life. So if you hear, for instance, that a candidate should have tremendous communication skills, there's probably going to be something in the interview process, because the community said that is important, that you'll assess that for each of the candidates. The goal throughout this whole process is to find the match between the profile, what the community desires, and the skills of the successful candidate. Let me mention at this point that information outlining the process can be found, again, on the website. There's a timetable. But because I know there's some public here and you're filming it, and I did comb my hair tonight, so I knew I'd be on film, that I'd like to outline some of the timetable for you. For the next 2 weeks, there will be a survey online, and on December 18th, the school board will finalize the superintendent's profile, the application process, and actually post the position. From December 22nd through February 13th, the school board will be in receipt of applications from prospective candidates. At the school board meeting on January 22nd, you'll see Rick and myself come back, and we're going to provide an update to the board, where we are, how many applications we've received thus far, just to keep the community aware of where we are in the process. On February 17th, the school board will review all applications and determine the pool of candidates to be interviewed, and the first round of interviews will be conducted at the end of February. Second round of interviews will be conducted in the month of March, and our goal is to introduce the new school superintendent in April. So as you can tell, this is quite an aggressive process, but Real Synergy is committed to assisting the Warren County School Board in finding the match. So I'd like to offer a thank you to the school board for the opportunity to really get to know the Warren County community. With the interviews we've done thus far, you have a great deal to be proud of. This community has a great deal to be proud of. We can tell you that through these comments, it's obvious that we've heard that this community values this school system a great deal, and it sees as a vital resource to assist all children to reach their potential. So again, thank you for allowing Real Synergy to assist you, and we look forward to the comments tonight and from the comments that we'll get back on the survey. Thank you.
Thank you. The first person I have signed up to speak, and I'm not sure who the person will be, it says Warren County Special Education Advisory Committee. Is there a spokesman for that? Please state your name and address.
My name is Sean McCloskey, 547 Raleigh Ridge Drive, Front Royal, Virginia.
I'm Lori Adams, 3174 Rockland Road, Front Royal.
Thank you.
Good evening. We are representatives of the Executive Board of the Warren County Special Education Advisory Committee, SEAC. We would like to thank you for the opportunity to advise you the qualities that our committee considers important in our next superintendent. We firmly believe that our next superintendent should have a strong background in special education programs. 12% of our school population receives special education services. The programs currently in place are good, but support from the superintendent is essential in not only continuing what we have, but ensuring continued expansion and excellence. Since, per the Virginia statute, the superintendent is SEAC's conduit to you, the school board, he or she should be approachable and open to taking input and hearing feedback from our committee, as well as from other committees and interest groups. A superintendent should attend school board advisory committee meetings on an occasional basis and have an open dialogue with these entities. We would like to see a superintendent who, after getting input from all concerned parties, develops a clear vision for our schools and sets goals which challenge the entire system, teachers, students, and parents. This individual would be able to effectively communicate these goals to all concerned parties and implement that vision through proven management and educational practices. We encourage the selection of an individual who believes in and is willing to get involved through a hands-on management style, someone who is willing to get their boots dirty and endorses the concept of MBWA, or management by walking around. He or she should realize that some of the best ideas in an organization come from the front lines. And he or she needs to hear those ideas unfiltered by layers of insulating bureaucracy and politics. We look forward to working with a new superintendent who will bring a fresh perspective and innovative ideas as we continue together along the Warren County Public Schools trek to excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Zachary Logan.
Good evening. My name is Zach Logan. I live at 710 Braxton Road. I'm a graduate of Warren County High School class of 2002. I'm currently a 7th grade history teacher at Warren County Middle School. The son of Dr. Rick and Andrew Logan, retired Warren County educators, and nephew of Mary Frances Buckfa, who's currently the Dean of Students at Warren County High School. As per your request, my remarks this evening are not a criticism of past or present superintendents or policy decisions, but for the future success of our students, I'd like to offer 4 suggestions I think would be important. First, I think the next superintendent should possess a doctoral degree in the field of education. Having such a degree, I think, will ensure the candidate has been exposed to, researched, and debated best practices relevant to current issues. I think it would also set a high standard of academic achievement for students and faculty in the school system. Second, I think that prior to their administrative assignments, they should have accumulated more than the required, I believe it's 3 years of classroom experience. I think the more experience, the better. I think it builds a deeper understanding of both students and teachers beyond the latest trends or conventions. I also think their administrative staff should reflect elementary, middle, and high school experiences as equally as possible. Third, I think the next superintendent should understand that the most significant factor in student achievement, which is what we're all here for, is hiring, training, and retaining effective teachers and principals. I think even though programs and good curriculum are important, teachers and principals are the ones that deliver the goods. Finally, I think the next superintendent should be willing to reside in the town of Front Royal and serve the community outside of their professional responsibilities. As the face of public education in Warren County, I think that face should be seen so that it could be admired. Given the importance of this matter you undertake, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Dale Carpenter.
Dale Carpenter, live over 509 Lena Court, just up the street a bit, and just moved down off of the mountain at Linden, so really glad to be down here. First, I'd like to thank and congratulate the Warren County School Board for its initiative in having this hearing to allow the public to provide input into what qualities and skills they want the new superintendent of schools to possess. I think it's the credit of each board member here this evening that so much attention is being given to identifying those personal and professional attributes that this community would like to see and that our youth deserve. The announcement for this meeting that I received mentioned our trek to excellence. I find that statement very appropriate in terms of what my wife and I have been in contact, what we've seen in our contacts with the schools in this community over the past 10 years. It's my personal hope that the new superintendent will have the same openness, I think I'm echoing something I just heard, and accessibility to parents and teachers and interested residents that our current superintendent has displayed. So I guess the first attribute I would like to see would be a Pamela McGinnis type openness and accessibility. The second attribute I and so many of my adult friends would like to see is a desire and commitment by the new superintendent to expand our youth's knowledge of our exceptional form of government that was born in 1776 and grew out of the sacrifice and commitment of people that were straining under the oppression and abuses of a corrupt kingship. These folks, which are our ancestors, went forward to form our unique Republican form of government that has remained essentially the same to this day, the basis of which, of course, is our unique Constitution. It is interesting to note that neither our closest allies nor our fiercest enemies have experienced the stability which we have been blessed. Our youth need to learn about and be reminded that this nation, under God, has been exceptional and will remain so if we honor the sacrifices and heritage we've been presented at such a great cost in human lives and effort. I would like to see the new superintendent passionately embrace that exceptionalism which is swiftly eroding in a society that seems to be rapidly losing its compass. Thank you.
Thank you. Laurie Adams.
Good evening. My name is Lori Adams. I reside at 3174 Rockland Road, and I'm going to give my input as a parent. I'm the parent of a child who attends Warren County Public Schools. I also educate 3 children at home. I serve on an advisory committee to the school board and also serve on our county's Autism Services Improvement Team. I appreciate the educational services from Warren County Public Schools that benefit my son and my family. I appreciate the freedom I have in raising and educating my other 3 children as I deem appropriate. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve the school division through involvement in the committees I've been appointed to. I have 2 thoughts that I'd like to share with you this evening regarding the qualities our next superintendent should have. The first concerns fulfilling the ideas embodied in our division theme, "The Trek to Excellence Takes Everyone." Our next superintendent needs to establish direct avenues of communication and collaboration with parents and the community. The Virginia Department of Education and the Center for Family Involvement have endorsed parent and family involvement for many years, and through avenues that go beyond those that are school prescribed, such as volunteering, fundraising, and helping with homework. Our next superintendent could open these avenues by starting his or her tenure at Warren County Public Schools with a listening tour, or perhaps holding a community forum directly with parents to hear what they have to say, to build a more direct relationship with them, and to challenge them to be more involved. My second comment has to do with home education. According to Virginia law, the ability of a family to educate children at home or to be excused from compulsory attendance laws rests on evidence that must be provided to the division superintendent. Our incoming superintendent should continue to foster the acceptance of home education within the school community as being a legal, valid, and successful educational option for the children of our county. In Virginia, Warren County appears to have one of the highest ratios of children educated at home to children educated in public schools. Our school system should respect the decisions of the families within the county it serves, and the division superintendent should set the tone for this respect. Thank you for providing our community the opportunity to share our thoughts as our school division prepares to hire a new superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Oakland.
You're going to get tired of seeing me.
No.
My name is Kim Oakland. I teach at Ressie Jeffries, and I'm the president of the Warren County Education Association. And I just wanted to commend the school board and Dr. Martin and Dr. Leonard for being so inclusive in your process of developing the superintendent profile. I think that Dr. Martin actually has already said to you at a meeting that the next superintendent needs to be someone who can build consensus. And I think that's very important. We also need to really look at retaining good teachers. We have wonderful procedures and processes to help teachers when they start here. We've got a great mentoring program and a great induction program, but we don't want to lose them after we've spent all that money. So we want to make sure that we are retaining the best teachers. And I think those are some of the characteristics that we really want to see in the next superintendent. We also want to see someone who is accessible, and I really think that everybody here is sort of saying the same thing, so I'm not going to repeat what you've already heard. But thank you all for including the community and stakeholders in this process.
Okay, thank you. Is it Catherine Breeden? Kathleen, okay, I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Kathleen Breeden. I live at 3113 Rivermont Drive. On October 20th, our daughter sustained a head injury during gym class. After having to find the gym teacher in his office on the computer, the gym teacher failed to look at the injury site or offer an ice pack.
Does this have to do with the superintendent search?
It has to do with what I would like to see for teachers.
For teachers, or we're doing a superintendent search? Is this something that would be better brought before the board at the next meeting? concerning an
That's-
issue with the school or a teacher?
It's both, yes. When is the next school board meeting?
December the 11th.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay, thank you. April Lazo?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is April Lazo. I reside at 227 South Royal Avenue, and I am a parent of a current honor student within the county, so I feel it's only appropriate to be here since you've opened it up. I don't want to repeat what we've already heard, but I will strongly back up Mr. Logan. He said it all. I think, in addition, someone who's strong in their civic activities outside of school. There's life here within the county, and if someone's in touch with what's going on within the county and other activities, I think they have a close relation to what may or may not be going on in the school. We do have a strong special needs group of families and children, and we have, unfortunately, low-income families. So if we have a new superintendent, I'm sad Pam's leaving, but, that knows what's going on and truly embraces Warren County and what all we can offer, I think that could do it. So thank you once again for opening up the floor to the community.
Thank you. Mary Ann Biggs?
My name is Mary Ann Biggs, and I live at 164 Greystone Drive, Front Royal. I have 3 things I wanted to share with you this evening. First, I want to say thank you for setting up this process the way you set up this process. Stephen Covey tells us that his advice is to seek first to understand and then to be understood, and I think that's what you're doing. I think you're listening to people's perceptions, which are their realities. You're listening to concerns. You're listening to thoughts about what is and what could be, and I think that's very, very important, and I know it doesn't happen everywhere. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing what you're doing the way you're doing it. The second thing I want to say is I've lived in Warren County for a long time, and I need to say that I'm very proud to be part of a community that has a school system like the school system we have. I was an educator in surrounding counties for about 150 years, and I know that there was a time when Warren County schools were not what they are now. And I just look back over the past 10, 11, 12 years, and I'm very proud of what's happened. I volunteer at a couple of the schools doing various things, and I see amazing commitment. I see amazing student performance, and I'm proud of that. I visited the biomedical class, and they were doing a DNA project, which was amazing. And afterward, I was speaking to the teacher, who was pretty impressive, and she said to me, I didn't do this kind of thing myself till I was in graduate school. These kids are 17 years old and having this experience. I'm proud. And how did we get here? I think it was Ronald Reagan who said, there's really no limit on what you can achieve as long as you don't care who gets the credit. And I think Pam McGinnis embodies that statement. That's how we got here. She didn't do it, but she rallied the troops. She set the vision, and I think now we're enjoying the results. But now it's time for Pam to move on and put her feet up, and time for us to look to the future. And I have 2 thoughts about what I would like to see, and it probably isn't the same thing anyone else in the world would say, but that's okay with me. Schools are a business, and they're in the business of teaching and learning. That's the business that we're in. So what I want is I want us to seek a person who can be an instructional leader extraordinaire. I mean fire in the belly, passion about teaching and learning. And the second prong of that is I want us to look for somebody who is a master at building relationships based on trust. Because if we build our relationships based on trust, there's no end to where we can go. Now, I've done a lot of interviewing, and I'm not exactly sure what it looks like in an interview when you're trying to figure out if somebody is a master at building relationships built on trust. But about relationships built on trust, I would share with you something from one of my favorite philosophers, Jed Clampett. He said, "I knows it when I sees it." Thank you for this opportunity, and good luck with the search.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Okay, if you could come up and sign your name. Do you have another sheet, Rob? Oh, okay. Sign your name and address, please.
Do I put the date at the top?
No.
And I apologize for my casual appearance, but I was making cookies for the fundraiser.
You're fine.
And I rushed out the door. My name is Claire Schuler. I live at 517 Viscose Avenue. I've lived here for about a year and a half, and I was recently hired on as a sub, as well as being hired on today at Winchester Public Schools as a sub. And I have a 8-year-old who's in the gifted program. She was just put in at the end of last year. And when we moved here, I worked for the National Park Service seasonally, and I moved here to Front Royal specifically, and only, not just for my job, because I could have moved anywhere on Skyline Drive, but I moved specifically here because of the school system. It came very highly recommended on the internet. I looked at a lot of places, a lot of reviews, a lot of states. And I chose this area specifically because of what good things I had heard about the school. For the first year that we lived here, I tried to get my daughter tested for the gifted program and ran into a few stumbling points, and I contacted Ms. Shrefko at one point, and eventually my daughter was put where she needs to be for right now. And so I'm very pleased with that. And I also had a brief encounter with the current superintendent, and I have no complaints about her because obviously I don't know her history except that it was very long. And I think it's great that you guys have opened this up for most of the community. I just found out about this a few days ago, and I'm not surprised that not a lot of parents have shown up tonight. I've noticed being in the PTO meetings that not a lot of parent involvement is going on, at least in our school. And it was really surprising because growing up, I remember the auditoriums being packed at my schools with parents. And so I would hope that the next superintendent who comes in, as all of the other people here have said, has a strong commitment to community and will encourage the parents and people in the community, even if they aren't parents, to get involved with what's happening in our schools, because it's not just about the children and the parents, it's about the entire community. And it makes a strong impact on surrounding areas, knowing what Warren County is capable of. And to go back to the gifted program, I'm a very strong proponent of improving, like the other people have said as I walked in, about special education. But special education is not just to help children who are behind. It's to also challenge children who are excelling in what they're doing and to keep them challenged. So I would hope that the next superintendent has the ability to look beyond the box, think outside of it, and look into possible fundraising through grants, grant writing, and just to think of other ways that they can bring funding to the community and to the schools where maybe people aren't seeing it. I know that prior to coming here, I looked into a lot of grant writing information and looking for funding for different projects that I've been working on. And it would be interesting to see if you can find someone who not only has the education background, but the background to think outside the box and to find other ways of getting funding outside of cakewalks and things that are very common. It would be nice to see that not just special ed gets attention, but all aspects. I'm sure it's possible. I think people just need to find different avenues of finding that money, because I'm sure it exists. And also, as they had said, it's great to find somebody who has a doctorate or a master's degree. And obviously, I'd reiterate anything else about making sure that they have experience in all the different aspects. It'll be a really hard challenge, I'm sure, and I just commend you on finding that person.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Hi, my name is Lauren Ewing. I live at 724 Catlett Mountain Road. We moved here 12 years ago. My son Nick was the first valedictorian of Skyline High School when it was built. My daughter Tegan is a 6th grade student at the middle school. Both of my kids, my son was, my daughter is in the GT program. My son also went to the Mountain Vista Governor's School. And so we've participated in everything that Warren County's had to offer. When we first moved out here from Fairfax County, all my friends said, "Oh my God, you're putting your kids in Warren County, your son in Warren County schools." And I never really had any doubt about it, and none of the teachers or educators have ever given me a reason to doubt the good things that this system does and its goal on the track to excellence. One thing I think is critically important moving forward, there are a few things that will probably echo what other people said. One is the issue of inclusion. I was on the Ressie Jeffries PTO for 3 years, and it was beg, borrow, and steal to try to get people to show up for a PTO meeting. We finally started doing them in conjunction with other school events to make sure that parents, at least one grade, had a reason to be there so that you would have people show up, because there were so many good things we felt we were doing. And I see that at a lot of different levels where parents don't seem to feel a real buy-in or responsibility or a sense of control and input into what goes on in their children's education. So I think that anything a new leader could do to instill that at all levels would be important. And the volunteer work and the other work within the community would be one way to do that. My brother and his wife are both high school teachers in Fairfax County. My grandfather was a high school teacher for more than 40 years before he retired. I come from a family of educators, and I know that they put in a whole lot of time and effort, and I think it's really important that they be rewarded. There's a lot of discussion lately in Fairfax County, and I don't know how far it extended, about teachers being viewed as service providers. And I think that's a huge mistake. I think we need a superintendent that views our teachers as the tremendous assets that they are. They are very hardworking, caring people. I also think that we need to have a focus on the arts. I'm so pleased that my daughter is able to have art and music and a variety of sports and those kinds of things. I think that's critical to developing the minds of children and the whole, thinking process as they grow into adulthood. So I would hope that that new superintendent would also have a great respect for the arts and how that helps our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? No? Well, I thank you all for coming out this evening and sharing your thoughts with us. Okay. There is a survey on the Warren County website, the public school website. I think the button is over on the left-hand side of the screen. If you could fill that survey out, even though you've been here this evening speaking, it would be nice to have your input with that. And please let your neighbors and friends know about the survey also. The more input we have, the better off we'll be in choosing the next superintendent. We're going to have a tough job finding someone who can do this wonderful job for us as Pam McGinnis has. Thank you for coming out. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Is your mic on?
wcps.k12.va.us. Again, our web address is www.wcps.k12.va.us.
Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.